Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. It is the 3rd, is that right? Let me look on my phone, see what today's date is. Yes, the 3rd. And that means new knife of the month. There are previous videos up on YouTube as well as Instagram that go back to knives of the month into 2018, I believe. If you feel like going and checking, seeing if you can find one you may have been considering. But this one is, I've actually had it for a couple years, but just sat on it, and it's time. So this is, I got it tied up right now, but this is just my little buckskin pouch that swaps from sheath to sheath. A lot of times I just make a new kit for them because I don't like swapping my stuff up. However, depending on which it is in the layout of the sheath, I will put it on belt sheaths, and just that'll be the one. So that's just my little PSK pouch. It lives on some sheaths sometimes, but here is the sheath for the Gibson Climate. This is made by Mr. James Gibson, so it's going to be the guy that does the JG5 or the JG3 from the ESEE series. That's Mr. James Gibson. He designed the pinch. He has their axe. He designed the ESEE axe. Get the Gibson. Sorry, I should say ESEE made the Gibson axe. He has a ton of different designs and models. My first one I ever got was called the Wasp, and I'll have to share something on it later. But a little story behind this knife. So Mr. Gibson, Patrick Rollins, and their friend Darren went to Karamat Wilderness Ways in Canada here, man, I don't know, it may be 5 years ago now, maybe longer, and took a class with Mors Kohanski. And Mors has a knife that he likes. It's perfected for boreal forest, bushcraft, woodcraft survival. Well, this was Mr. Gibson's take on that design. So I shouldn't say design, it would be that model. His design is different. They're all different designs, but they cover roughly the same needs. This is 1080. It has natural canvas micarta scales on it with brass tubes, 90-degree spine. Uh-oh, people across the road just got home. Sorry if my dog starts barking. I used the rear one for a lanyard tube. The fit and finish is super slick. The biggest thing that you're going to find when you look at these knives is the edge geometry. So there's some videos I have where I talk about knocking the fat off of it, where you take the place where the grind comes down and then it tapers off again, and that taper is actually the edge. Well, this is all one thing. There's not like a secondary bevel or whatever. This is just all the way down to nothing. And it was chrome. I say chrome, it was really shiny when I got it. And I put it in apple cider vinegar and patinaed it just because I knew it was going to be set for a long time. And I got out here batoning with it yesterday. and it puts some pretty good streaks in the material. Not a big deal. There you can see the Gibson logo, the arrow. I bet that's a sourwood arrow, I bet. Man, come on, thing. Sometimes you'll see a G with an arrow over the top of it. That's also Mr. Gibson's, one of his maker's marks. But it's full tang, of course. Again, 1080, 90-degree spine. Overall length, it's going to be, I'm going to say maybe 8 1/8 tops. Can't get really close to it. I'm going to say 8 1/8. Blade is going to be to the plunge line. It's going to be about 3.5 inches. So here from the tip to the plunge line here is going to be 3.5 inches. Yeah, it's pretty wide. It's going to be about 1 1/8 to 1 1/4 wide. I don't have enough ticks on this to really say which is which if I put it down low. Anyway, it's I believe it's 1/8 inch high carbon. It's been raining out here all day, but you can still see the got my little stubby in my pocket. Better have it in my pocket. Found out I had a hole in a pair of my shorts I've been wearing to work, but I sewed that up. This is old Krusty right here. That's a good one. The only thing about Krusty is you gotta clean that. You gotta get that oxidization off of it. It's getting in there pretty deep. It's not bad. It's been sitting out here all day. Try putting it back in my sheath. So it's got a good worker spine on it. Can't do much if your ferro rod is super crusty, but just while we're talking about it, you can see how this side has no shine on it whatsoever. That's not gonna spark. You're gonna have to get it down to some fresh material to get it sparking. That's just from being in your pocket. Not a big deal. So the sheath, when I got the sheath from Mr. Gibson, it was this like brown, kind of whiskey colored Kydex that had 2 of the like push the dot style loops on it, and they're pretty wide. They were nice, but I prefer a vertical belt carry when I'm doing my belt knife. So what I've done is I did the same leather backing as I've done on other knives. I just did a loop, connected the loop, and then connected the whole loop to the sheath. And I just did copper rivets on there and just kind of gave them all a hand look there with the ball peen, who is Citizen E Glow Nut Mini, and some heat shrink tubing, and some high-vis paracord, and that gave me the lanyard that I'm looking for. So 3 days in, there's going to be a whole lot more come from this knife, so make sure you follow along. Custom for Mr. Gibson, as of right now, his books are closed, but they open up periodically throughout the year depending on how many knives he wants to make. But y'all, I appreciate the support. Make sure you follow along with this. Check out all of our older stuff over on Instagram at Bushcraft Coso, bushcraftcoso.com for gizmos and gadgets. Have a good week. Later.